We can put it on. Fine. Am I audible to all of you online? Now fine. Hi, Rakhi. Chaleshwar, okay. ठीक है. Good evening, good evening. Good evening, all of you. Let me just set it up properly once. Okay. So I love all of you. So we are starting with your first session on Geography Advanced course for GS. We did not have a class. We were scheduled to have. Okay, I think on Tuesday. Yeah, Monday tha aapka. Monday. That was because I was not really very well. It's off now? Why? It is switched on. Chaleshwar, am I audible to you? Chaleshwar, am I audible to you? Online, is it okay? Dinesh? Yes. Rakhi, okay. It's fine now. Okay, okay. So I'm sorry because I was not well. Okay, bit of viral and okay, it got to me. So I had to cancel most of my classes. But we will more than make up, don't worry. So I'm presuming you all have done your geography GS coaching classes already. Ya aap kar rahe honge, whatever. And here we are trying to get into the exam mode. So I've seen the questions that have been asked. So broadly, हम लोगों ने identify किया है. There are about 10 to 12 broad topics from which they ask questions. Where geomorphology is one. They have asked questions related to climatology. They have asked questions related to resources, Indian resources, and also world resources. World resources में oil and gas पूछा हुआ है. They've asked something about water resources also. And you also have questions related to oceanography. Okay, water mass पूछा हुआ है, marine heating का पूछा हुआ है, one on cyclones also है. So we have done that mapping. So your topics on trade transport bhi hai. So I can see almost one question every year, okay, on one of the themes. So आपके जो questions आते हैं हर साल approximately mains में you have got 15 to 17 questions asked और एक theme से पूछा हुआ है. Geomorphology, climatology, they've asked on Indian physiography. हर साल एक सवाल होता है. One question from industries, one from trade, one from climatology, one from water resources. They have a question also from regional planning, something about regional development of Northeast or the coastal regions. Plus, they also asked about energy resources अलग से. So, ऐसे हमने identify किया है about 12 to 15 broad themes हैं. So, I intend to spend about 1.5 days, depending on what type of theme it is. Okay, for every, because you have got 12 sessions for advanced course, and this will include your answer writing and discussions also. Okay, that's the plan. Plus, I'll also help you cover some topics for your prelims point of view also. So, prelims point of view may most questions in the geomorphology portions are relatively easier. जो questions tricky वाले आते हैं other sections से. Okay. We'll cover that also along with your mains. The first topic I'm taking up for discussions is geomorphology. Okay, so I'm presuming all of you have done your basics of Earth's interiors. You have done the basics of continental drift theory and tectonics theory, correct? ये आपने किया हुआ है. So I'll give you some questions and I'll discuss through the questions. Make sense, all of you? Online, I will discuss through the questions. Okay? Yes, okay, excellent. Okay, Rachit, fine. Okay. So the first question you can take up is, write down the question, and this is a question on continental drift theory. How can you use distribution of modern and ancient life forms? How can you use distribution of modern and ancient life forms in support of continental drift? How can you use distribution of modern and ancient life forms in support of continental drift? I expect no answer to be more than 2 pages. जो भी answer लिखेंगे 1.5 page maximum with some diagrams maybe. ठीक है? Did you all write down the question, all of you? How can we use the distribution of modern and ancient life forms in the distribution of, in the evidence in support of continental drift? So before I teach you, I expect you give yourself some time. Effective time for writing in the mains is within 7 minutes. I'm giving you 2 or 3 minutes. आप थोड़ा सा structure बनाओ. Thank you. Think through it and write down whatever you can. And then I'll start the conversations on this. Online and offline dono. I'm kind of timing you. Start, please. Online, offline, both, please. Take out your pen and paper and start writing. Those who walked in late, I've given this question as a quick spontaneous writing. Okay, question likho and write it. We'll not talk about एक्टिव लर्निंग आप लिखेंगे, फिर हम डिस्कस करेंगे इसको. You do not need to have optional level content to write this answer. That's what is bothering you. Okay, it is 3.5 minutes by my watch. Maybe take 1 more minute, then we'll discuss it. Okay, I think most of you are done. Online, shall we start discussion now? Online, shall we start discussion now? Yes? Okay. I will always prefer कि आप लोग खुद भी पहले थोड़ा सा practice करो. Ask yourself what you may write, because answer देना is very easy for me. But if you can struggle through and practice, with me, it makes more sense. कोई बात नहीं. Okay, let's start off. Now, the fact is, in the GS paper, when the answers are really short, you should not write more than 1.5 pages, otherwise आप time manage नहीं कर पाएंगे. Whether they say 250 words or whatever, you keep in the range of 150, 180 odd words. Okay, so you do not have too much scope to organize too much in detail. However, I'll say, okay, as a rule, introduction होना चाहिए. Okay, as a rule, geography है, एक का diagram होना चाहिए, and identify 2 or 3 broad dimensions on which you will write down, and you should have one conclusion. And the good part about your GS writing is you don't need too too much of elaboration, not too many sentences. Okay, you can write more in a short bullet sentences. What I mean by this is, when I say write in bullets, I don't mean write one word in bullets. Okay, say what are the advantages of Indian economy or Indian agriculture? Bullets mein, good rainfall, good water, good soil, long seasons. That's a bad way of writing. Isme kya hai? Bullets mein ek do word hai. What I'll suggest is write the answer in one sentence, but the sentence in bullets, which means long tropical climate with a long growing season, with average temperature at more than 25-30 degrees on an average. Good rainfall and well-distributed rainfall, where good parts of India has rainfall of more than 75 centimeters. Okay. Therefore, there are 3 distinct growing seasons: rainy season, and we have a dry season along with a mild, cold winter seasons. So, aap bullets mein likho, but don't write one word. Write short sentences. Usme kya hoga? The concepts are better expressed. That's my suggestion for you in geography. Okay, polity and the history teachers will tell you the rest. So I repeat, do not write too much of elaboration. Okay, problem will be many of you are geography optional students. You might end up writing too much to show your geography prowess. Don't do that. Usme kya hai? Aapka time bachega nahi, and you will get impacted in terms of the other answers. So don't elaborate too much. Don't write too many sentences, but importantly, short bullet statements is your approach. Achha. And in geography, wherever possible, give a holistic picture. Give a holistic picture. And this should be through short diagrams or quick mention. इससे क्या होता है? The confidence of the examiner improves. जैसे कि while writing his answer, a short holistic क्या होगा? The continental drift theory of Alfred Wegener was one of the first theories that tried to detail, okay, origin of the continents and the oceans, tried to explain how continents moved, and tried to describe diversity of landforms on the Earth's surface. Okay, that's all. The first, so एक idea हो गया broadly कि आपको drift theory पता है, Wegener है, और theory का objective क्या था. Okay, but not too much. And you might probably add that the drift theory, though it was controversial, there were many evidences in support of it, such as rock evidences, such as jigsaw fit evidence, such as fossil evidences and climatic evidences. Question पूछा है, write about life form evidence, but you can always have a passing reference. Okay, so I always suggest this. आपके answer को थोड़ा holistic रखो. Tell the examiner, you know about this fairly well, but I'm writing only this much because you asked for it. Okay, so your introduction. So your introduction, you have to mention Alfred Wegener, mention the first theory to explain origin of the continents. Okay, movement. Okay, talks about how landforms are formed. Okay, and talks about the present distribution of the continents. Okay, introduction में add कर देना that there are many evidences to this controversial theory. This word tells me that the theory was not easily agreed upon. और अगर आप कुछ idea है about the year, just know that Wegener approximately 1910, 1920s की बात हो रही है. Wegener died in 1928. So by then एक phase खत्म हो गया. So one of the very early theories of early 20th century that tried to explain the origin of how continents move, how the continents got distributed, how landforms are formed. Very controversial theory. Okay, some evidences. आप schematic बना देना evidences of drift theory. So fossil evidence, I believe you know this. You know, there are climatic evidences, there are shape and jigsaw fit evidences. There are evidences related to rocks and the structure. This is your introduction. Keep this within half a page. Okay, इसको रखना आधे पेज के अंदर में. There are 2-3 lines here and one diagram. You can put this under a box. ये आपका diagram बन गया. Then I talked about a diagram here. The schematics and pictorial tools are also diagrams. Are you all keeping pace with me online? और आप लोग भी. हम जो बता रहे हैं, keep writing it down. Okay. Proper answer लिखना eventually, but keep writing it down. Okay. Now you will talk about, you give a heading now. So, life form, distribution, pattern, based evidences. So category 1, you say ancient fossils. Ancient fossils mein, you must at least know 2 or 3 names. So we have distribution of Glossopteris. We have distribution of Mesosaurus. We have distribution of Cyanonathus. ये 3 से काम बन जाएगा आपका. Glossopteris is a type of a plant, a type of a fern. Mesosaurus, these are shallow water reptiles. And Cyanonathus, these are land reptiles. They are land reptiles. You could draw a diagram on this also. So I'm teaching the structure, organization kaisa hoga aapka. Most of you, I believe, know some of these points. Ancient fossils, distribution of Glossopteris, 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 distribution of Mesosaurus, distribution of Cyanonathus, one type of a land reptile. I'll suggest one thing, because of not as much of requirement, you learn to draw world maps, but don't draw the exact map. You try to draw a representative map. For example, this is an example of a representative map. South America, North America. This is Africa. Can you all do this much? You have to be creative here. Because aapka time bhi kam hai, all of you can copy, then you can have variants of this. Broadly, aapka continent lagna chahiye. If I want a bit more detailing, probably I can add one box here, or maybe I can do something like this. Sorry, this, that's all. You want representative maps. All of you suggest, if you can practice, do this. So South America is like a triangle here. North America, Florida, Hudson Bay, Alaska. Africa, Western Bulge. Africa, this is Spain and Portugal. This is India. This is the southeastern part. And this maybe is Australia. Yes, absolutely, yes. These are representative, quick drawing sketches. Isko ab improvise kar lena, not a problem. You can improvise this. Okay. So what you can show is that this area has Mesosaurus. This area has Cyanonathus. And we have the presence of other life forms right across like this. Glossopteris. So this is the distribution of Mesosaurus. This is the distribution of Cyanonathus, and this is the distribution of the fern Glossopteris. Okay, so give an idea here. Give an idea here. Cyanonathus जो है, this is found in South America and Africa. It cannot swim. Mesosaurus is again Southern Africa and Southern America. Okay, Southern America. This also cannot swim in deep waters. And Glossopteris is found in South America plus Africa plus South Asia plus Australia plus Antarctica. और ये तो plant है. So ये जो distribution है, I've shown in the form of this diagram. Please write down whatever you can. Okay, found in South Africa, found in South America. It cannot swim. Cyanonathus is a land reptile. Okay, Mesosaurus is shallow water reptile. In Southern Africa, in South America, it cannot swim in deep waters. ये shallow water reptile है. Okay, and Glossopteris एक type का plant है, not exactly a plant, a type of a plant, you can say, a plant-like, found in South America, Africa, South Asia, Madagascar में भी, Australia and Antarctica. ये जो बीच वाला है, this is Glossopteris. This is Glossopteris. This is Mesosaurus. This is your Cyanonathus. All done? Okay. Now 3 lines में, okay, you'll talk about that the above ancient okay Mesozoic life forms, okay, are found across oceans and continents despite the unlikelihood of such life forms to have swum across. बस एक sentence में, the above life forms, above ancient Mesozoic life forms, are found across oceans and continents despite their unlikelihood of such life forms to have swum across. एक sentence हो गया. The second sentence is the only possibility that they could have evolved locally, and when continents drifted, they seem to be distributed very far. The only possibility is they could have evolved locally, and when the continents drifted, they now seem to be distributed very far off locations. आप अपने पेज में स्पेस देखते रहना, कितना स्पेस ले रहा हूं मैं. The idea is I must teach you to write the answer within 1.5 page. The introduction about half a page, and this must not take you more than another half or a bit more than that with a diagram. The last 2 lines, I repeat. The only possibility is that they could have evolved locally. वो local जगह में evolution हुआ है. And when the continents drifted, they now seem to be distributed at far off locations. They now seem to have distributed at far off locations. Okay, so this is therefore in support of continental drift. This is therefore in support of the continental drift. Okay, evidences of ancient life forms. Okay. Part B, evidences, okay, of modern life forms in support of continental drift. Evidences of modern life form distribution. Modern life form distribution in support of continental drift. Okay, so now see, I'm sure some of you know the answers. It's just that how do you write it? Ye challenge hai mains mein. Okay, so I've taught you what I mean by short sentences, no long paragraphs. Use bullets with a diagram. Now, isme aap divide karoge. The first is evidence. Kya? First is dissimilarity of life forms despite being a part of one large landmass in the Gondwana times. Dissimilarities of life forms despite being part of one large landmass in the Gondwana times. Ab dekho, this is South America. This is Africa. We have India here. We have Australia here. This is the Tropic of Capricorn and North Main Tropic of Cancer. Ye jo location hai, bahut similar hai. But if you look at so habitat conditions are same. Habitat conditions of Africa are very same as that of Africa, India and South America. Yet Australia mein life forms unique hai. Why? Because Australia broke out of Gondwana very early and before the evolution of modern life forms and the carnivorous mammals. Because if carnivorous mammals hote, lion hote, tiger hote, then kangaroos would not have survived. The marsupials would not have survived. So the Australia having unique life form is because Australia alag pehle ho gaya. Australia separated in the Mesozoic times and did not allow for the carnivorous mammals to evolve here properly. Likho ye wala point? Okay. Example, the early drift away of Australia. The early drift away of Australia from the rest of the Gondwana times. Sorry, rest of the Gondwana land. The early drift away of Australia from rest of the Gondwana, okay, lands. And before the evolution of carnivorous mammals help preserve the unique life forms of Australia. Help preserve the unique life form of Australia. तो ऑस्ट्रेलिया में जो लाइफ फॉर्म्स हैं उसको क्या बोलते हैं? मोस्ट लाइफ फॉर्म्स आर marsupials. Marsupials are older life forms. Marsupial, marsupials. Example of marsupial is kangaroo. Kangaroo, wallaby, koala bear. Okay, they have a separate pouch in which the life form grows. The young of the life form grows. They're called as marsupials. Plus we have egg-laying mammals. Egg-laying mammals such as platypus. They're called as monotremes. So Australia में monotremes हैं, marsupials हैं. Eucalyptus is also a very old type of a plant. Yes, Tasmanian devil, 3-4 names, you're done here. There are no large mammals which are carnivorous, like lion, tiger, cheetah, okay, or jaguar or cougar. ये सब नहीं है. That's one evidence. Yes, the drift hua hai. Continents have broken apart. The second evidence is similarity of life forms. Similarity of life forms, despite their distant location. Similarity of life forms, despite their distant location. Jैसे there is similarity of Africa and South Asia के life forms. You look at lions, you look at tigers, you look at elephants, rhinoceros, okay, cheetah. Why? Because South Asia separated from Africa, from East Africa, much later. In the late, write down this point, because South Asia separated from East Africa at a much later stage, or at much recent times. In much recent times, during the late Mesozoic times. इसीलिए similarities है. African lion है, इधर you have got Gir lion. Indian tigers and African, Indian elephants and African elephants. Cheetah, now you have Kuno National Park also. It जब भी possible है because there was some connection between them. Similarly, you also have similarity of life forms in Madagascar and East Africa. हालांकि the separation is pretty good. Madagascar, East Africa में, for example, think of rhinoceros. Rhinoceros, okay, मिलता है Africa में and also Madagascar में. You find lemurs, Lemurs. Lemurs are found again in Madagascar and also found in Africa. Lemurs. In fact, Madagascar को Lemuria भी बोलते थे. They're also called as Lemuria. Okay, so I've explained it in terms of the ancient life forms and the current life forms. And the current, this explains. Head on further. Okay, the above to explain how the continents may have drifted. How the continents may have drifted through their geological history to their present day locations. To their present day locations. Conclusion में क्या लिखेंगे? Give a broad perspective. Okay. अच्छा, by the way, if you know the drift theory, do you all realize one thing? कि drift theory का the best part is none of the evidences are wrong. Evidences of rocks, evidences of fossil, evidences of jigsaw fit, evidence of climate, कोई भी गलत नहीं है. Problem का उसका basis था और driving mechanism था. So that could be your conclusion. Right down here. Okay, yes. Plants. You have examples for that? Yes, yes. And the point is now, for that you need to know geography as an optional. Okay, I have to limit it. You don't have to give like you are a geography optional one. Okay, and this much of information is there in your NCERTs. ठीक है, आपका बस क्वेश्चन ट्विस्ट किया हुआ है. अदरवाइज आपके एनसीईआरटी के बेसिस पे लिखना है आपको. Okay, there's much more detail not required. Ignore करो उसको. Okay, so conclusion क्या है? Conclusion यही है that the evidences of the drift theory are very convincing. Of how continents have moved. Okay, but the drift theory was discarded. Because of its faulty assumptions. About the nature of the continents and oceans. Faulty assumptions about the nature of the continents and the oceans. वो सियाल सीमा का mistake था. And also because of faulty understanding of the driving mechanisms. तो कितना बड़ा आंसर बना आपका, बताओ. आपके नोट्स, आपके हैंडराइटिंग में 2 pages, fair enough, with 2 diagrams. So आपका क्या आंसर है? I think if you go back and practice better, आप उसको समेट लोगे within 2 pages. Okay, 1.5 पेज में आपका बन जाएगा आंसर. See, the objective of these sessions is, okay, not assuming कि you can write. मुझे पता आप लिख लोगे. Okay, but exam conditions में and time pressure में word limit में लिख पाएंगे कि नहीं. So even if you think you know the answer, please do not stop writing. और ऐसे ही करते करते हम सीख जाए. By the time we have done 10, 15, 20 answers, you should have been comfortable in writing. All done here? Okay, so through this one question, we have explained what do I mean by the life form evidences. Online, is it okay, all of you? Online, good to go? Any questions? Any questions here? Okay, next question then. Next question. Okay. What do you understand by continental drift theory? What do you understand by continental drift theory? Question. Discuss the prominent evidences in support of the drift theory. Discuss the prominent evidences in support of the continental drift theory. Got the question, all of you? What do you understand by continental drift theory? And discuss the prominent evidences in support of continental drift theory. The same process again, please. Questions bata diya aapko. Now I'm giving you another couple of minutes. Aap try karo dobara. Let's see. Good to go, all of you online? Please participate, okay? हाँ लिखो, लिखते सीखेंगे और क्या. Fine, I'm start. So a good, nice, holistic beginning. Try some diagrams. 3, 4 broad heads में discuss करो. Short sentences, bullets में. And then try conclusion. Don't assume आप लिख लेंगे, even if you know the concepts. 3 minutes by my watch, another 1.5 minutes. कम से कम आंसर का ब्रॉड हेड्स होना चाहिए. A sense of diagrams, what you could have drawn. Okay, stop now. ठीक है, जो लिखा है in my clock is already say I'm already clocking about 4.5 minutes. इसमें आपका 3/4 आंसर हो जाना चाहिए, because आपको officially will not get more than 6-7 maximum 8 minutes if you are lucky to manage in some ways. ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं, एक सेंस तो हो रहा है. Let's start off now. इस क्वेश्चन में और प्रीवियस का डिफरेंस क्या है? The previous one was very specific. He write about life form evidence alone. Now we have gone much more wider. So जब wide बन जाएगा, you can't afford to elaborate all the evidences. पूरा evidence को within maybe 3-4 lines पे खत्म करना है. An important part is they've asked you, what do you understand by continental drift theory? Whenever a question has 2 sentences or the question has 2 parts, you must give adequate weightage to both the parts. Okay, I'm not saying give equal evidence. This question mein, the first part, what do you understand by drift, and the evidences, दोनों की equal weightage थोड़ी होगा. What do you think? क्या breakup क्या है? 50-50, 30-40, 40-30 कैसा होगा breakup? The first part will have how much of weightage? 60. First part will have 60% weightage. Anybody else online? 30-70, 30 for the first part, 30-70, 40-60. Okay. आप लोग बताइए, what do you think? Question. What do you understand by continental drift theory? I'm asking कि क्वेश्चन का 2 पार्ट है. आप वेटेज बताओ कि पहला पार्ट का कितना वेटेज होना चाहिए, कितना लिखोगे. सेकेंड पार्ट का क्या वेटेज होगा? 50-50 तो नहीं होगा. Okay, what do you think? 25-75 या 40-60. तो बेटा पहला वाला पार्ट cannot be 60. The weight of the answer second part में. So most of them might ignore completely. Then you can debate 30-70 हो या 40-60 हो, उसी रेंज में रहेगा. So generally I would say कि पहले पार्ट को, in this question, if I was writing, I would probably give half a page and the remaining answer the rest of maybe 3/4 of a page, which means approximately 1/4 and 3/4 types, 25-75 or 30-70. तो आप क्या लिखेंगे? Write down the question. What do you understand by continental drift theory? इसमें क्या लिखोगे आप? You must write down what is it, what were its objectives, and whether it succeeded or failed. लिखो आप, write down. उसके हेडिंग भी ऐसे ही देना. Okay, continental drift theory, put a hyphen, a brief understanding. Learn to give headings like this. Continental drift theory. Okay, put a hyphen. Yes, Rajratan, you're right. Okay, 30-70 is a good ratio. 40, maybe a bit more, but ठीक है, nothing wrong. 80-20, 20 is too less, but fine. इतना समझ में आ रहा है ना, फर्स्ट पार्ट भी इंपॉर्टेंट है, इवन इफ नॉट एज मच. सो अंडरस्टैंड में क्या लिखेंगे ब्रॉडली. ओके, इसमें फर्स्ट बुलेट इज दैट इज वन ऑफ द ओल्डेस्ट थ्योरीज दैट ट्राइज टू एक्सप्लेन हाउ कॉन्टिनेंट्स गॉट डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड एंड विथ व्हाट कॉन्सिक्वेंस. One of the oldest theories that tries to explain how the continents got distributed and with what consequence to their present day location. To their present day location. ठीक है, ये कैसे डिस्ट्रीब्यूट हुए. सेकेंड पॉइंट बुलेट में, it was given by Alfred Wegener in 1912. It was given by Alfred Wegener in 1912 in trying to explain how continents and oceans were formed, and how they changed. Third point, it's based on the concept that continents are made of lighter sial. Continents are made up of lighter sial, and they float over heavier sima. S-I-M-A. Within bracket, oceans. Continents are lighter. They're made up of sial. They float over heavier sima or oceans because of Earth's rotation and gravitational pull of sun and moon. Next bullet. The theory was discarded in light of many inaccuracies around the above postulates. हो गया आपका आंसर. तो आई हैव गिवन पूरा वेगनर बता दिया आपको 4-5 पॉइंट में. So this is what you all have to learn. आपको लिखना पूरा है, because पूछा अंडरस्टैंडिंग का मतलब क्या है. So what is the objective, who gave the concept, what was the basic idea, plus what were the mistakes if any. Don't elaborate much, because है 10-15 मार्क का ही आंसर, but that's good enough. Okay, next. Despite its inaccuracy. So now you'll give a heading. Evidences in support of Wegener, or in drift theory. Evidence in support of the drift theory. ये heading दे दो. So I am a big fan of such subheadings, because if checking किया जाता है ना, ये subheadings make the work very easy. Okay, then it looks like आप command में हो content के. Subheadings में evidence in support. So despite the fact that there were inaccuracies in the postulates, the evidences nevertheless were fairly convincing and accurate. And proved that continents do move. They proved that continents do move. Although not in the manner and reason. Although not in the manner or reason as explained by continental drift theory. As explained by under continental drift theory. Okay, this is the introduction of your, I said, even if the theory was wrong, the theory was inaccurate in terms of the postulates. Okay, but जो evidences थे, the evidences were fairly accurate. The evidences were fairly confirmatory. Okay, in terms of a proof of the continents did move, although not in the manner, not in the phenomena, not in the process as explained by the drift theory. कि move तो कर रहे हैं, but not like how the theory was explaining. हो गया आपका? So I've hit the main question straight away from the word go. Okay, now diagram के लिए, look at this. Now this is one more type of diagram I suggest. So diagrams can be summaries in themselves. See, one trick I'll tell you. Whenever you feel कि question का answer लंबा हो सकता है, whenever you feel कि it's possible that I might have end up writing more and yet I can't complete it, a good smart strategy is convert the answer into a schematic pictorial diagram, ताकि अगर छूट भी जाएगा point, you always say as discussed above in the diagram. Okay, so I would recommend some diagrams which are a summary like. Okay, so in this, look what I'm doing. Okay, so I will say postulate, because ये पूछा है question. Postulate is Sial over Seema floating. So I'll draw a continent. I will draw the ocean. I will say this is Seema. I will say this is Sial and this is floating. Okay. Inaccuracy is Sial and Seema concept. Inaccuracy is the forces of continental drift. Okay. On this side, the evidences of continental drift. Okay, I divide this into, like, I'll try to be a bit more creative. So we have shape fit, we have rock structure fit or match. Okay, we have fossil evidences. Today I've discussed about distribution of modern life forms, and we have climatic evidence. तो अगर कोई point छूट भी जाता है, it doesn't matter. I can always say, as discussed in the diagram above, an examiner can look at this diagram and give you marks. You don't have to even see the complete answer. Yes, absolutely. आपने जो भी पढ़ा होगा from whatever you've studied, you can take your notes. Okay. Fine here. So this is one suggestion from my side. Try drawing diagrams and sketches which are summary in themselves. And it's possible time khatam ho raha hai. I will not discuss this one. Maybe I'll be very short in the shape fit. I'll discuss rocks a bit more. I'll discuss the climate a bit more. I'll discuss the fossils with a diagram maybe. So ये जो priority hai you can manage if you get your overall structure fine. And then start off. Okay, number one. Okay, number one is the shape fit, the opposite coasts of South Atlantic seem to match. Okay, the Brazil coast seems to fit into Gulf of Guinea in Africa. That's all. Ek sentence. The shape fit is also called as the jigsaw fit. The opposite coasts of South America seem to match. The Brazil coast seems to fit into the Gulf of Guinea in Africa. Okay, so you probably could draw the diagram if you know this. Equator here, Africa here, and you can show this is matching, this shape matches, and this shape matches. Okay, the South Atlantic coast, they seem to match. Okay? Okay. The second evidence is the rock match. Rocks of Brazil match with the rocks in, again, Gulf of Guinea. और आपके एनसीईआरटी में एग्जाम्पल दिया हुआ है that the placer deposits of Ghana seem to have their origin in the Brazil highlands. The placer deposits of Ghana seem to have their origin in Brazil highlands. We also have the rocks of eastern US match with West African coast. The rocks of eastern US and Florida match with the West African coast. Keep writing. थकना थोड़ी है. Keep writing, please. So if I draw a diagram here, it's something like this. This is in North America. Okay, this is Madagascar. This is India. Okay, this is Antarctica, and somewhere here is Australia. Draw this diagram. Fight मारते रहो. Don't give up. Okay, you keep on struggling with diagrams. बनते बनते हो जाएगा. This is India. Okay, this is South America, Africa, ये Florida है. So यहाँ के rocks are matching these rocks. These rocks of Brazil are matching Gulf of Guinea. These rocks of South America are matching here. These rocks here are matching this. Okay, these rocks of Australia matching with Antarctica. देख के बनाओ, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. There's no hurry here. एक बार बन गया आपके नोट्स में रह जाएगा. Australia, Antarctica, Africa, North America, and South America. North America है, South America, Africa, South Asia, Australia, Antarctica. Done? Online, are you all with me? Online, are you all with me? Yes. यही तो पढ़ाई है मेरे बच्चे। इसमें कौन सा ऐसा कंसेप्ट है बिल्कुल भी नहीं पता था। हाँ, एक आध पॉइंट्स हम ऐड कर देंगे। द एक्चुअल टेक्निक इज कितना लिखो, कहां ड्राइंग करें, कहां हेडिंग डालें, यही तो पढ़ाई है। बाकी तो सारा इंफोटेनमेंट है। ओके, प्रॉब्लम इंफोटेनमेंट, नोबडी नोज कौन किसका मजा ले रहा है। Whether you are enjoying, okay, the teacher teaching or the teacher is enjoying the buffoonery. कोई नहीं यार, ऐसे मत पूछो यार। फोर्थ पॉइंट ऑफ लास्ट स्लाइड, like I said, rocks of eastern US and Florida match with the West African coast. The rocks of eastern US and Florida match with West African coast. Okay, so ये जो बताया मैंने आपको, ईस्टर्न यूएस, ये ईस्टर्न यूएस का पार्ट है और ये वेस्ट अफ्रीका, ये फ्लोरिडा है। so यहां के रॉक्स मैच करते हैं। All done? Okay. The third one, the third is fossil evidence. अब देखो, लास्ट टाइम मैंने पूरा 1.5 पेज दिखाया था ना आपको। See how I finish off here. Fossil evidences में prehistoric, Mesozoic, life forms, fossil demonstrate that the life forms are distributed wide across different continents, despite their inability to swim. Prehistoric, Mesozoic life forms, okay, fossils demonstrate the life forms are distributed wide across different continents despite their inability to swim. Okay, so example, Mesosaurus in South America and Africa, Cyanonathus in South America and Africa, Glossopteris across different continents. Mesosaurus in South America and Africa, Cyanonathus in South America and Africa. इसमें क्या करो, don't draw the whole world. अब यहां जरूरत नहीं है. You draw Africa, you draw South America. इतने में दिखा दो ना. This has, okay, Mesosaurus and this has Cyanonathus. That's all. Leave Glossopteris. सारा थोड़ी दिखाना है. This is Mesosaurus, a distribution. This is Cyanonathus. Cyanonathus distribution. लिखा आपने? All of you done? लिख लो. I'm dictating as I write. Prehistoric Mesozoic life forms, life form fossils, demonstrates that the life forms are distributed wide across different continents despite their inability to swim. Mesosaurus is a shallow water reptile. Cyanonathus is a land reptile. And Glossopteris क्या है? This is a fern, एक type का plant है. A plant-like life form. और ये तो across continents हैं. South America में है, Africa में है, India में है. You have in Australia and you have in Antarctica also. Okay. This is only possible. This is only possible if the locally occurring life forms were spread because of continental drift. That's all. 2 sentences mein it's over. Only possible if the locally occurring life forms were distributed because of continental drift. Likh liya aap logon ne? All done with diagrams? The fourth one is climatic evidence. Climatic evidence. So, despite their tropical locations, South Asia, Africa, Australia, and parts of South America. I hope you know South America mostly tropics ke andar hi hai. Bulk of it is between South Equator and Tropic of Capricorn. Africa bhi almost tropical hai. South Asia to hai hi tropical more or less. Despite that tropical locations, South Asia, Africa and Antarctica and parts of South America have evidences of pre-Gondwana glacial deposits and tillites. The evidences of pre-Gondwana glacial deposits and tillites. Anybody knows which is the Gondwana times? Which is the Gondwana times? लिख लिया आप लोगों ने? इस sentence done, लिख लो पहले. Despite their tropical locations, Asia, South Asia, Africa, Australia, and parts of America have evidences of pre-Gondwana glacial deposits and tillites. So what is Gondwana time? So if you look at the geological time scale, okay, this is Paleozoic. This is a Mesozoic. Mesozoic ka hai Triassic, you have got Jurassic, and you have got Cretaceous. Paleozoic mein you have Coast Cap, COSDCAP, Coast Cap. So from approximately late Carboniferous से maybe mid Jurassic तक, इस time को बोलते हैं Gondwana times. Because इसी time में Gondwana बना था. Gondwana somewhere here बना है. Okay, Gondwana when was made? Approximately around 180 to 200 million years के पहले बना था. It was around that time. So इसके पहले ये जो time है, Ordovician Silurian time जो है, plus even some times of this, ये जो दो time है, these were ice age. ये ice age था और ये भी ice age था. And the actual Gondwana, ये जो Gondwana part है, this part was not really ice age. This was the warm times. So before Gondwana times, यहाँ पर तो ice रहा था आपका. But see, one exception is Devonian. Devonian is not ice age. Devonian is very warm and wet conditions. This is where the origin of land plants started. ये warm था और ये also wet था. The beginnings of land plants का evolution शुरू हुआ था. ये part छोड़ देना. This was one ice age and one ice age here also. Okay, so before the Gondwana times, all the continents were together once. ये time क्या है? This is the time when we had what? Pangea. याद आ रहा है आपको? यही तो Pangea का time है. This is the Pangea time. Pangea existed in the Carboniferous times. Pangea was in this time. So when they were all together before Gondwana times, they had lot of glaciers. Why? Because They were together and they were near the South Pole. They were in the southern hemisphere. Okay. So जब टूट गया, those deposits remain. This is because in the early and mid Paleozoic times, early and mid Paleozoic times, okay, the continents were all together and located near the southern hemisphere and influenced by the Paleozoic ice ages at the same time. Yes, warm times are relatively of the Mesozoic times. This is because in the early and mid Paleozoic times. So I'm talking about largely किस time की बात कर रहे हैं? I'm talking about Ordovician times and I'm talking about the Silurian times. Prakash, ये जो facts हैं Gondwana etc. ये आपके NCERTs में हैं. You cannot say this is optional. Optional में बस मैंने ice age का word add कर दिया, that's all. ये छोड़ दो ये part. But Gondwana के around, before Gondwana, you had ice age and there are glacial tillites. ये आपके NCERT में mentioned है. How can you say this is beyond your school discussions? हम दिखा देते हैं आपको. See, this is what we want. कि आपकी पढ़ाई should be in reference to your books and the questions asked. ये तो है आपका. This is NCERT textbook. All of you, ये देखिए, Fundamentals of Physical Geography, class 11th है. ठीक है? ये वाला देखिए, ये दो part देखो. In the sedimentary rocks formed out of deposits of glaciers, the Gondwana system, sediments of India, counterparts in 6 different land masses, southern hemisphere में. At the base, tillites indicating extensive prolonged glaciation. कहाँ पर है? अफ्रीका में, Falkland Islands में, Madagascar में, Antarctica में, Australia में है. The resemblance Gondwana type sediments demonstrate the land masses have remix histories. The glacial tillites provide unambiguous evidence of paleoclimatic and drifting of the continents. मैंने आपको समझा दिया, that's all. दिख रहा है? Page number 31. यहाँ पर थोड़ा सा ambiguous लिखा है, but वही term तो मैंने use किया. All that I added was Paleozoic had ice age. That's all. The pre-Gondwana times and the Gondwana sediments are very similar. Your class 11 बहुत important NCERT है. This is one of your fundamental base of physical geography. अब कोई किताब पढ़ना है बार-बार तो ये किताब पढ़ना है आपको. All done? Yeah, online. Is it okay? Prakash, don't get demotivated. अब अरे पहले नहीं किया तो अब करो और क्या. अगर सब कुछ पढ़ाना था जो आपको पता है फिर why would I teach? My objective is you know some facts and take the distance. Okay, so don't get demotivated here. इस course का यही objective. In fact, that's what I keep on insisting to students, that your actual examination ka level is much different from the notes that you have. That's why we have an advanced class. Don't worry, you will do it, I'm sure. Okay. But rise up to the challenge. Okay, all of you? This is the example of the rock deposits. Examples of the rock deposits. Okay. And इसी में आपका हो गया. Then finally, you'll talk about the conclusion. Now, conclusion, don't give a generic one. The conclusion here is all the above evidences, are confirmatory. And they were used by the plate tectonics theory also. The above evidences are all confirmatory of continents moving. The above evidences are confirmatory of the evidences of continents moving. Continents moving. And they're evidences of plate tectonics too. Evidences of plate tectonics too. Hence, even if the drift theory had inaccuracies, the evidences prove beyond doubt that the continents have moved. The evidences prove beyond doubt that the continents, have moved. कितना पेज के आंसर हुआ बताओ? 3 pages. आपका? Almost 3. So you'll have to do some bit of, maybe I wrote that additional part. वो part छोड़ देना. Try to keep within 2, all of you. Okay? So go back and re-edit once more. Maybe the diagrams you can shorten a bit. Okay, the additional part को काट देना. Bus keep that 4 important evidences together. The jigsaw fit evidence, the structure evidence, the climate evidence, and the fossil evidence. Can I move on now? Okay. Try next question.
I have only not give any second part. Just I have started the answer from this evidence.
ठीक, कोई दिक्कत नहीं. मैं आपने डायग्राम नहीं बनाया, ये तो कहना चाह रहे हो, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, पर बना दो तो आई ऑलवेज फील दैट्स द होल आइडिया. तो मैं जब डायग्राम बनाता हूं इस टाइप का, मेरा ऑब्जेक्टिव यही होता है that if I run short of time, because I have a sense of anticipating कि ये लंबा बनने वाला है, तो मैं इसको ऐसे बनाता हूं so that कि अगर टाइम शॉर्ट हो रहा है, I can directly say as discussed in the diagram above, and the important one I'll discuss, leave the rest. ठीक? So you have to train this slowly. Yes. ऐसे करते रहो, सीखोगे आप धीरे धीरे. What I'm telling you, उसे समझ में आ रहा है, सेंस आ रहा है, बस ऐसे 15-20 लिख लिया, you will learn. Okay? So एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, इंट्रोडक्शन में हो या डायग्राम में हो या कंक्लूजन में, give a sense of holistic idea. You know the concept well. Okay, in short sentences, one sentence, maybe one diagram. Okay, in every answer, give a sense of holistic appreciation. कि मुझे पूरा पता है यार, drift क्या है, who gave it, क्या problems हैं, क्या summaries हैं. We have done that in diagram itself. The examiner knows your control of the topic. They ask you about, say, history में, they ask you about Nagara School of Painting, whatever architecture. So डालो एक, okay, schematic डालो, okay, following temple forms हैं, okay, Dravidian है, Nagara है, and so on, okay, and maybe 2 lines features क्या हैं, and the bulk of the answer what is asked. So always have a sense of holistic idea. ठीक है? Okay, let's move on. The next question, let's see what you do on this. In light of the rock cycle, of Earth, discuss the nature and properties of the different type of rocks. In light of the rock cycle, discuss the nature and properties of different type of rocks. Rocks में, okay, prelims में 2 questions हैं और मेंस में 1 question पूछा था. So I think rock cycle अब पता होना चाहिए. So go on, let's see what you do. Online, are you all okay? Do you all get the question? In light of the rock cycle of Earth, discuss the nature and properties of the rocks. Excellent. So let me put on your stopwatch again. Yes, start. It's 4 minutes by my watch. Maybe 1 more minute. Okay, we stop now. So for this answer, you had to know two things. First is आपको rock cycle पता होना चाहिए था without any fail, and you had to know what is the nature and the properties of the rocks, and then you will interlink both concepts. So rock cycle याद करने का best तरीका है, you start with magma. Magma gives us igneous rocks. Igneous rocks ka weathering will give us sediments. The sediments give us sedimentary rocks, and the sedimentary rocks will metamorphose into metamorphic rocks, and they give us again magma. ये सबसे simple part है. उसके बाद the sediments can come from sedimentary rocks also. They can come from metamorphic rocks also. ठीक है? And igneous rocks can also become metamorphic rocks. तो याद करने का समझ में आया तरीका कैसे है? Don't complicate it for yourself. Okay. So magma is where it all starts. Maybe in some ways, magma से मिला igneous rocks. Igneous rocks से you get sediments. यहाँ पर क्या होगा? It will be weathering and erosion because of weathering and erosion. Sediments, sedimentary rocks. This is because of deposition. This is because of compaction and because of lithification. Okay. Sedimentary rocks. Achha, I forgot one more. Sedimentary rocks can also give us magma. ये है relationship. So remember the first one: magma, igneous rocks, sediments, sedimentary rocks, metamorphic rocks. Magma again. Okay. Sediments can also come from sedimentary rocks, can also come from metamorphic rocks. Sedimentary rocks can also become magma. Igneous can also become magma. Oh, sorry, igneous can become metamorphic and then magma. Okay. All fine here, all of you? बस ये आपका process है. और fill up करना है. There is process of weathering erosion, the process of deposition, compaction, lithification. This is under any metamorphic will be under what? Temperature and pressure changes. यहाँ पर भी temperature and pressure changes. Metamorphic rocks, जो magma बन रहा है, this is because of melting and solidification. Melting and solidification. Is this okay, all of you? No problem here? So I repeat, you start with magma. Magma से igneous, igneous से sediments, sediments से sedimentary rocks, sedimentary rocks से मेटामॉर्फिक और मेटामॉर्फिक बैक टू मैग्मा। उसके बाद ओके, दिस कैन गिव अस सेडिमेंट्स, this can give us sediments. Igneous can also give me metamorphic, and sedimentary rocks can also give me magma. और आपको प्रोसेस ऐड कर देना है, इसके बिना आपका आंसर नहीं बनेगा। एंड राइट डाउन व्हाट हैपेंस हियर, व्हाट हैपेंस हियर, व्हाट हैपेंस इन दिस कन्वर्जन, व्हाट हैपेंस इन दिस कन्वर्जन, दिस एंड दिस कन्वर्जन। ठीक है, अच्छा। उसके बाद ऑनलाइन, इज इट ओके ऑल ऑफ यू? ऑनलाइन, इज इट फाइन? ओके, देन नाउ द प्रॉपर्टीज ऑफ द रॉक्स जो हैं, 4-5 मेन प्रॉपर्टीज हैं, डोंट गो बियॉन्ड दिस। इग्नियस रॉक्स, सेडिमेंट्री रॉक्स, मेटामॉर्फिक रॉक्स। प्रॉपर्टीज क्या? इग्नियस रॉक्स, दे आर ऑलवेज क्रिस्टलाइन. These are non-crystalline, and these also are crystalline. There will be exceptions, but ignore that. GS level में इतना काफी है. Crystalline, non-crystalline, crystalline. Mostly hard, and some are soft. This is mostly soft. Okay, highly erodible. These are mostly hard. These will have no layers. These will have layers. These are banded. Banded are not really layers. इसमें क्या है? Layers fuse हो गया, इसको bands बोलते हैं. When I say layers, I mean you can remove the layers. Okay, so you have got layer 1, layer 2, layer 3. आप निकाल सकते हो. But when they fuse together, फिर आप निकाल नहीं पाओगे. You can only see the colors. You can band दिखाई देगा, but you cannot remove. So they are non-stratified, but they have bands. These are stratified. इनके layers होते हैं. Okay, and these are again non-stratified. Igneous rocks will not have layers. They will not have layers. Okay. And then igneous rocks are non-fossiliferous. Sedimentary rocks are fossiliferous. They will have fossils. Metamorphic में, okay, इसमें fossil imprints हो जाएगा. But you cannot remove the fossils. It's like they are burned and they are kind of pasted. Imprints होगा, you know कि कुछ वहां पर था. But the fossils can't be removed. The fossils can't be preserved. इसमें you can remove the fossils and preserve them. So they are fossil imprints, but actually they are non-fossiliferous. These are azoic. इसमें life forms, because of जो भी होगा जल जाएगा. These will have life forms. These have a life form remains. These again are azoic. That's all. इतना ही याद रखना है आपको. Don't overdo beyond this. Crystalline, non-crystalline, crystalline. Not hard, mostly hard, some are soft. Like basalt बहुत soft है. Mostly soft and highly erodible. इसमें भी hard, like limestone is hard. Okay. Whereas these are mostly hard. Not layered, not stratified. These are layered. These are banded. इसको layered नहीं बोलते, इसको banded बोलते हैं. They are banded and not really layered because उसमें fuse हो जाता है layers. Non-fossiliferous. Okay, why? Because जो भी होगा वो जल जाएगा, खत्म हो जाएगा. These have fossils. Sandstone fossils होते हैं, shale में fossils होता है. Okay, but these will have fossil imprints. You know that कि वहां पर कुछ था, but you cannot remove it. And azoic, no life forms. This will have life form remains again. Why azoic? Because of the transformations. High temperature, high pressure में transform हो गया. And process division में यही होगा. Okay, now these are formed from magma. These are formed from depositions, and these are formed from dramatic alterations. Dramatic conversions हो जाता है. That's why it's called as metamorphic. Okay, so I presume अगर नहीं पता तो आप जान लिया आप लोगों ने. Examples पता होना चाहिए. Igneous rocks. No two examples. The most common one. Granite है. Basalt है. And no one more. Andesite. Fairly common in parts of the Earth's crust. Andesite. Okay. Sedimentary rocks. Limestone. A sandstone. A mudstone. Okay. You have got shale. Okay. And metamorphic rocks. You have got quartzite. ये किससे बनता है quartzite? From what? From sandstone. Sandstone converts into quartzite. Okay. Marble. From limestone. Quartzite from a sandstone. Marble from limestone. Slate from shale. Okay. Schist also from shale. ये नाम आपका NCERT में है. ये जो नाम बता रहे हैं सारे NCERTs में है. And you have got phyllite. Phyllite. ये तीनों they are from shale in different conditions of temperature and pressure. And yes, you can always add one more. Gneiss. 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 This is from granite. इतना नाम आपको पता होना चाहिए in your GS, because these names are mentioned in your NCERT textbooks. अगर आप refer करना चाहेंगे, you want to refer. This is chapter number 5, Minerals and Rocks. Chapter 5, Minerals and Rocks. Page 42 and 43. 1.5 पेज का राइट अप है यार. कितना देर लगेगा पढ़ने के लिए आप लोगों को? Only 1.5. And rock cycle यहां दिया हुआ है. This is the rock cycle. Okay. So igneous rocks, weathering erosion, sedimentary rocks, sediments, sediments से sedimentary rocks से metamorphic rocks, melting magma. Okay. Plus sedimentary rocks also give sediments, metamorphic also give sediments. Igneous rocks can also give magma metamorphosis. दिख रहा है साइकिल ये वाला? यही तो मैंने बनाया आपका. और क्या बनाया? Straight page number 43. Whatever I'm teaching today, go back and please revise. Or name of the rocks देखो यहाँ पर देखो. Okay, you have got limestone, chert. You should know these names. Halite, limestone, shale. Okay, organically formed geyserite, chalk, limestone, coal. Metamorphic rocks में, okay, they are mentioned. Metamorphic rocks में they will have foliations. The bands बोलते हैं इसको, foliations बोलते हैं. Foliations, they will have lineations. Foliations, examples are a slate, a schist, marble, quartzite are metamorphic rocks. Okay? ठीक है all of you? अब question क्या था? Question was कि can you relate the properties of the rocks का nature with the rock cycle? ठीक है, ये क्वेश्चन था आपका। तो आप गो बैक रॉक साइकिल। ओके, so igneous rocks from magma, therefore no life, therefore no life. From magma hai, therefore they will have no layers. Because of cooling of magma, that is why they will have crystals. और अगर लाइफ ही नहीं है तो नो फॉसिल्स, एज सिंपल एज दैट। जो भी मैग्मा से बनेगा, ओके, दे विल हैव नो फॉसिल्स, बिकॉज वेदरिंग से बनता है, ओके, बिकॉज इरोजन से बनता है, सेडिमेंट्स, ओके, ये सॉफ्ट होगा, ओके, सेडिमेंट्स विल बी इन लेयर्स, देयरफॉर जो सेडिमेंट से बन रहा है, these will be having layers, because from sediment layering, therefore they will have soft rocks, because layers बनता है, compaction है, that is why you will have fossils, because sediments हैं, इसीलिए इसमें crystals नहीं होती हैं। Have we got the point here? Crystals are from basically coal से hot करना, sorry, what's hot becomes cold, it become crystals. Sediments में there is no change of temperature. The rock has been weathered, the weathered are granules, and they pile up. And when they pile up, they are getting cemented. Because they get cemented, therefore they are softer. Okay, कुछ rubbing हो गया, some water based solution हो गया, they'll easily get washed away. So they are softer, they're easily erodible. Achha. Because metamorphism includes high temperature. Because of high temperature and high pressure based changes, that's why these are very, very hard. Like isme kya hai? The layers are getting fused. The layers are getting fused. That's why they will have foliation and bands. Because high temperature and high pressure, therefore no life. Whatever life may have existed will now get destroyed. And the fossils, because of compression, impression can remain, but you cannot remove it. Have we got the point here? So, आपको करना क्या था? In the process, you must add the properties. In the process, add the properties. Yes? So, let me give you the answer structure now. देखो, हर बार हम ये नहीं करेंगे. Initially, I'm doing it because we all are learning. But gradually, you must learn to develop your own answer structures. Start off now. So again, always start with a more profound generic beginning. Write down. The earth has variety of rocks and minerals. The earth has variety of rocks and minerals that become the basis of the layers of the earth's interiors. That become the layers of the earth's interiors and their differentiated properties. And their differentiated properties. समझ में आ रहा है यहाँ पर? अर्थ में variety of rocks है, variety of minerals हैं, and this variety responsible for layers of the earth's interiors. You know about crust, mantle, core. You know about lithosphere, asthenosphere, and the mesosphere because of the variety of rocks and minerals. Next write down, next point, next bullet. Okay. The diversity of rocks, is most obvious in the upper visible layers of oceans and continents. The diversity of rocks is most visible in the upper layers of the continents and oceans. And do you know the continents and oceans are called as first order relief? Ye order ke hierarchies mein ocean and continents called as first order relief. Okay. And okay, continents being lighter, thicker, continents is lighter, it is thicker. Okay. Thicker, and also relatively softer. Sorry, and also relatively acidic is because of its rock compositions. Is because of its rock compositions. Continents kya hai? Continents are thicker. Okay, the average thickness is around 50-60 kilometers, and it can also become as much as 80 kilometers. They are thicker. They are relatively less dense. Rock continent density kitna hai? Because about 2.5. Okay, compared to oceans, whereas oceans with their basaltic rocks, इसको हम मेफिक भी बोलते हैं, because of basaltic rocks or mafic rocks, they are thinner, more dense, and more basic. They are more dense, they are thin, and they are basic. Next point. This rock diversity and their associated properties, rock diversity and their associated properties are related to the rock cycle. They are related to the rock cycle and the processes that create them. As depicted below. हो गया? 3 sentences में I have directly hit as depicted below. So आप ये diagram बना देंगे आप पूरा. Okay. Don't make it too clumsy, okay? Okay. Simply mention the rock cycle, magma, igneous, sediment, sedimentary rocks, metamorphic rocks, magma, and the other arrow marks. For reference, page 43 of your NCERT. Okay. Any diagram you draw, always put inside some kind of a box that will make your diagram stand out. Next likho. Okay. The following are the properties of the rocks. The following are the properties of the rocks and their association with the rock formations. Association with the rock formations. Number 1. All igneous rocks are 3 points, 4 points. Non-fossiliferous, azoic, crystalline, non-stratified, mostly hard. लिख लिया points? This is because they are formed from the magma. Because they are formed from the magma or lava. And their rate of cooling decides the type of crystal structure. ये पता है आपको? अगर slow cooling होगा क्या होगा? What will happen if slow cooling? They'll have what? Large crystals. If fast cooling, small crystals. So extrusive rocks, lay down please. Fast cooling is large crystals. Sorry, fast cooling is slow crystals, extrusive igneous rocks. And slow cooling will have large crystals, intrusive igneous rocks. Okay. Next. Sedimentary rocks are formed from number 2. Sedimentary rocks are formed from erosion and weathering off. Erosion and weathering off. Okay, sedimentary rocks, metamorphic rocks, and igneous rocks. The sediments get compacted, cemented, and lithified. The sediments get compacted, cemented, cement ho jata hai, like fusion, and lithified. Hence, sedimentary rocks are softer, more erodible, layered, and have fossils. And have fossils. ठीक है? And number 3, online, all keeping pace with me. I cannot see you, so I'm assuming you are keeping pace with me. Yes? Excellent. And the third point is, metamorphic rocks are formed because of dramatic transformations of sedimentary or igneous rocks. Dramatic transformations of igneous or sedimentary rocks in association with high temperature conditions and high pressure conditions. Under intense transformations, crystals may be formed. The rocks get harder. Crystals may be formed. The rocks get harder. Fossils may get imprinted. Fossils may get imprinted. And the layers convert into foliations or bands. The layers convert into foliations or bands. आपको लिखना सिखाना है, okay? मिला आपको आंसर अब? Introduction in 3-4 points, the main body in 3-4 points. Now you can draw the diagram again, and if required, put some of these points. Rock cycle in association with the rock properties. Conclusion क्या होगा? That the earth has a process in how its matter and energy cycles and flows. The earth has a process in how its matter and energy processes and flows through its systems and subsystems. Through its systems and subsystems. Earth में सब कुछ cyclic होता है. This is evident in its life cycles, evident in water cycle, gaseous cycles, evident in rock cycles, gaseous cycles, life cycles, and also in its rock cycles. Also in its rock cycles. And just to add a bit more level, I can add that the above rock cycles are part of a part of plate tectonic processes. Part of plate tectonics processes. And are related to formation of earth, its differentiation of layers, formation of earth, its differentiation of layers, and and the continuous cycle of oceans and continents. And the continuous cycle of oceans and continents. All done? कितना पेज हुआ आपका? 2.5 page. Fine. ठीक है. See how you can squash it. Some words हटाकर, diagrams हटा करके, you are done. Fine. Yeah, online. Are you okay, all of you? Wow, we have crossed time. ठीक है. The next one. Take a question. I'm giving you 2 questions. अब try करो इसको. One question is straight. I will not discuss it, but take लिख लो आप. Discuss the layering of Earth's interiors. Discuss the layering of Earth's interiors. And give a detailed differentiation between continents and ocean crust. Discuss the layering of Earth's interiors and a detailed differentiation between the continents and the ocean crust. और एक क्वेश्चन लिखो. Discuss in detail the various sources of information about different sources of information about the interiors of Earth. About the interiors of Earth. Fine. ठीक है. आपका नेक्स्ट क्लास कब है? सैटरडे है. या ठीक है. So we continue on Saturday. Online, any suggestions from your side? You want me to incorporate, modify, change? Okay. Initially, I will do this. Then all I'll give you the points. अब अपने आप लिखेंगे फिर. All good? Tomorrow I'll take up next class. I'll take up next level of discussions. So what you do is, in your back home, finish off entire tectonics theory, drift theory, volcanism, earthquakes, पूरा खत्म कर लेना. Next class, I'll finish off tectonics-based discussions, including earthquakes, tsunamis, volcanism and the rest, plus some current affair-based discussion also. ठीक है? Okay. By all of you. Also finish off the exogenic processes, weathering, erosion, landforms. Revise कर लेना, whatever source. The best source is NCERT class 11. You can't read more than that. आपका जो 4-5 पेज है, almost 50 pages in total है. This is the best source. Okay, EA units. Okay, origin of Earth, interiors of Earth, ocean and continents, mineral rocks, geomorphic process, landforms and evolution. Itna. I'll finish off in the next class. Okay. Bye all of you. My wishes to you. All the best.